You mentioned twice that you used to be embarrassed introducing yourself as a hairdresser.
Yes. I've always been proud to be a hairdresser, but I was also embarrassed because it was the word hairdresser. I think, you know, back in the day, I mean, definitely my parents were like, no, you're not going to be a hairdresser, you're going to be a lawyer. And they wouldn't take no for an answer. So I had to find, I actually applied to London College of Fashion because I thought, right, that's university and it does hairdressing. So they agreed, they kind of agreed. They were like, okay, well, do that now, but then at least, you know, get your BA, but then you can do law. Because you like English literature, you know.
Name us a few celebs, like the most high profile that you worked with.
Probably the highest was when I was here in Abu Dhabi, and that was Paris Hilton. And I got paid. I got paid. So basically, my name's Kat. Cat Hawks, and I've been in Dubai for about 11 years, or yeah, just over 11 years, and I am a hairdresser. And I always introduce myself as a hairdresser now because I'm confident in saying that. If you'd have asked me 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I would have desperately wanted to say, first of all, I would have said I'm a business owner, because I had a salon. I bought my first salon when I was 21. And I would have said definitely hairstylist or hair artist. I was really always embarrassed about saying the word hairdresser. But now I've come into myself, 41 on Sunday, and I'm going to be, you know, I'm actually proud to say hairdresser because that's what I am and that's what has led me on my path, and it's something I've always wanted to do. So what I do now is run Salon 971, and I work in the salon as a hairstylist. I also work for Schwarzkopf as part of their artistic team. So that might be training at the academy or working on projects for competitions or shows. So that's my day-to-day kind of job and what I do now. What led me to the point of having my salon in Dubai was coming to Dubai 11 years ago. I left behind 2 salons that I owned in London, both being run by managers. And I was brought out here to open Marquee. I don't know if you know of it, but it's a chain here owned by Shabana Kareem. She's an amazing business entrepreneur. You may have met her. And she owns the nail spa, House of N Spa. And she's just an incredible woman. And I met her in London 11 years ago. And she asked me to come and help open a chain of hair salons, something different for the UAE. And obviously I had no clue what Dubai was. I'd never been here before. I think I was 29 at the time. And yeah, I'd never been to the Middle East, to be honest. I think I've got to Tunisia. And that was as far Middle East as I'd come. I had lots of clients where my salon was based in London. It was in Barnes, so very wealthy area. My clients were very affluent area, so they had been coming backwards and forwards on holiday to Dubai. But for me, I didn't know it was something that would be possible. And at the time, I wasn't really interested because I had my 2 salons. I had 2 small children, and she really would not take no for an answer, and we clicked. And so I came here first of all. We talked about the locations where they were. She showed me the brand, and I fell in love with it. I felt it was very similar to my brand in London. And just before meeting her, I'd been working with another woman who was a bank manager for the Bank of England. And she wanted to own a chain of beauty boutiques.
Okay.
So she asked my help and she hired me as a consultant. And at the time I was like, I'm not a consultant, I'm a hairdresser, right? So I don't know what you want from me. But she said, I just want you to tell me how to set up the business. Like, how did you set up yours? And I thought, okay, well, that's easy because I know how to do that. But so I did that for her. And what I learned from her was branding and business. Even though I'd had my salon by then a few years, for me, what I learned from her being a businesswoman was absolutely just, what's the word? I mean, priceless. That's the word. It was priceless. So I got paid, which was great, and was still running my salons, helping her with hers. And then it was her that introduced me to Shabana. So Shabana said, I want you to do the same for me in Dubai. So anyway, eventually I moved out here and they were like, just take the risk. I spoke to my clients at home, spoke to my husband. I think he was an afterthought, actually. I think it was first speak to my clients, speak to family, then said to my husband, we're moving to Dubai. And then that's what brought us out here. And then I worked with her to work on, obviously, the brand for her, open the salons, get the staff in, do the training, do hairdressing as well. And I think the clients that I have today are still those original clients that probably I first met 11 years ago.
Wow.
So that was, that was how I ended up in Dubai.
Okay. And then Cafe 971 happened.
Salon 971. So no, so
Sorry,
basically,
Salon
yeah,
971.
so ran market, worked there for about 5 years, and then I had the I was loving Marquee, but I felt like it was grown and it was established, and I didn't know where I wanted to be. During that time, I sold my salons in London, just because I didn't feel it wasn't working with me. It wasn't generating money, let's say, for myself. So I actually shut one down and sold one. So that was what I did for London. And then I was at a sort of a crossroads. I don't know what I want to do. Do I want to do more training, more education, which I love, but I also love creating hair. So I felt like I don't know where I fit in at that point in Dubai. And an opportunity came to me to sort of be the artistic director, business development manager for the hair section of Tips and Toes, which was a huge brand. Um, and I did. I went to that company, and that was fantastic as well. It was another learning opportunity because I had then gone from, I don't know, 5 branches to then I think there was 21 branches with hair at the time. And literally, it was a big learning curve for me of how to work in more of a corporate environment. I say corporate lightly because I'm sure corporate people will be like, this is not corporate at all. But for me, being from, like 1 or 2 salons to then go to a big company for Marquee and then go to Tips and Toes, it was huge. And it was working with, I was head of department. So having boardroom meetings and things like that was pretty scary. By that point, I'd become okay, I'd say, at Excel. Like the office side of
Yeah,
things, I
yeah.
learned, loved and enjoyed working for the office. I missed working in the salon so much. I really missed because I was working in the salon, um, you know, training the girls, but mainly I was head office based, organizing everything. And then I'd go and do my clients on a Saturday on my days off because I never wanted to lose my clients. But then COVID happened and it sort of like realigned myself. During that time before COVID, I got asked to be the ambassador, the colour ambassador for the UAE for Schwarzkopf. So that was amazing time. Um, and it was a really great year. And then I think it was that year, just before COVID shut down everything, that I won Colorist of the Year for professional beauty. So that was a really sort of special time. And then COVID obviously happened, everything shut down, and I was doing lots of videos, creations at home for Schwarzkopf and also for clients. Like Facebook people were requesting, can you show us how to do this? Can you show us how to do a boy's cut? Can you do this? And I thought, I was just doing so much hairdressing. I thought, God, I love this. I feel like I'm back to myself. I'm not so corporate. That's not me. Do I want to just be a hairdresser? And I say that lightly. I know it's awful to say that, but for me, I would easily do that, but I've always been the breadwinner in my family and I had 2 children. So I needed to make sure that I'm paying Dubai school fees, with that salary. And it's difficult going from just a handful of clients, that is going to pay for that. And, working as a leader or a director in a company is then different to then working as a hairdresser for someone. So I knew I couldn't just go and get a job as a hairdresser at that time, um, financially. So then I started thinking, you know what? I'll just set my own up. I've done it before in London and I'll do it again here. I'm here to stay. I devise my home. It's where my children have grown up and that's it. So that's when I decided, right, we'll open 971. So it was with, a small budget, I would say, that we opened Salon 971. And yeah, to be honest, I'm so lucky with the team that I've got. They were here from the very beginning. So Pristina, who's now my business partner, She came as a salon supervisor. She's creative, she's helpful, she's amazing. And she has worked with me to sort of build up the team and everything else up to this point now. So it's been a journey, I'd say. And during that time, I fell pregnant with my third, unplanned, because obviously I'd just put everything into the business. So yeah.
Well, what is the age gap of your 3 kids?
So my daughter just turned 18.
Okay.
My son was 14. This is when I fell pregnant. And then I fell pregnant. So she was in the middle of her A levels. He was doing, about to start GCSEs. And then Roman, my little, I call him angel baby, came along.
So
I
you
was
have
like,
2 teenagers and a toddler.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. So now he's 2.5. She's 21. She's in the uni in
Wow.
England.
Oh,
Leo, my
not
son,
even a
has just
teenager.
joined military in England. I've just got back from sending him off.
Okay.
And now I'm at home with, not at home, but I mean, he's at home with us. My little one, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you definitely fit the mom of like a toddler. A 21, I don't see that.
It's because I had him so young. I had her so young. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I met my husband when I was 14. And
Oh,
then
high
we got,
school sweethearts.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then we got married, had Sophia. Then I bought the salon. Then I had Leo, and then the rest is history.
Okay. You mentioned twice that you used to be embarrassed being called, introducing yourself as a
Yeah.
hairdresser.
Yes.
Do you think that's like a perception that people have of a hairdresser back then?
Yeah, I think that's changed. It definitely had changed in London anyway. It definitely changed in London, I would say, going back, probably before I came here. And, you know, I've always been proud to be a hairdresser, but I was also embarrassed because it was the word hairdresser. I think, back in the day, I mean, definitely my parents were like, no, you're not going to be a hairdresser, you're going to be a lawyer. And they were like, you're a bright girl. Hairdresser's not for the bright. So
It's that pride
it was that, yeah, it was that kind of thing. They didn't mind me working as a hairdresser and the weekends, etc. But they were like, you're going to uni, and they wouldn't take no for an answer. So I had to find. I actually applied to London College of Fashion because I thought, right, that's university and it does hairdressing. So they agreed. I kind of agreed. They were like, okay, well, do that now, but then at least get your BA, but then you can do law because you like English literature. And I was like, I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to be a hairdresser. So it still had that stigma. And then moving here, I realized it had even more stigma.
Yeah.
Much more stigma. And only you could be a hairdresser if you're uneducated, which is definitely not. I mean, you have to, I think, it's good that hairdressing is creative. So you don't have to be necessarily. But, there's a lot of scientific things to it. So I think you've definitely got to have the passion. Otherwise, you just can't. You can't do it. You can't stand on your feet that long or talk to clients, be their therapist and everything, for 10, 12 hours a day if you're not passionate.
I was born and raised here, so I know back then, how hairdressers, barbers was perceived compared to what it's become now. Trends change, big brands come in, values change, and then you see the creativity that goes behind this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It
I
just,
think it's still there in different, obviously, different cultures. It's definitely there, that sort of stigma, but it's definitely, I mean, there's so many shows and everything now here and in Saudi. I've done a couple of shows in Saudi for hairdressers, and it's amazing. It's an amazing industry, and it's so creative.
how is the Saudi market? Do you have plans over there?
No, I just obviously working with Tips and Toes, they opened in Saudi, so I was part of that. And then Schwarzkopf, when they actually launched in Saudi, I was part of the opening show in Al Khobar. So I was just lucky to be in that. And I've done Fashion Week in Saudi. I think that was the first one they ever did in Riyadh as a hairdresser, and that was amazing. And I think from my friends that have salons there and a few clients and things, the market is still growing. It's probably what I hear, Dubai was so many years ago, but so much more need and want. And of course, the freer, the more creative that I think females feel there, the more they want haircuts, or that they value the haircut and color.
Yeah.
And then of course they need someone that is educated creative stylists.
So do you think with what's happening in Saudi now would definitely benefit, especially your industry?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Anyone that I know has opened in Saudi has just flown, but they have a lot of challenges. So I'm not there yet in my mindset. I will actually, even last year, I was thinking, right, I had a friend and she said, I'd really like to open in Saudi. Can let's do something, take 971 there. But um, I'm not there yet where I want to be here in terms of like my salon. I don't feel I'm new in the market. I'm not old in the market, but I feel like my salon's new in the market still. It's 4 years old, I know, and other people, um, fly off. But I don't want to make. I've made so many mistakes in my London salons that I've grown from. That here I want a solid base, and I need I need to be a bit more like solid and comfortable and happy. I am happy, but I mean, I'm enjoying the happiness, let's just say,
Okay.
here, rather than have I got the energy right now to take
Take
that
another
somewhere else?
challenge
Not
on.
at the moment. Yeah, not at the
Okay.
moment.
When you say the kind of mistakes you made in London,
Yeah.
were they more on the creative aspect or the business
No,
aspect?
business. Yeah, business, definitely financial. Because I was learning and I was young when I opened that salon. It was like, I'm a hairdresser and I want to open a salon. And then I thought, oh, how do I get the money? And someone said, oh, you need a business loan. I was like, oh, okay, what's a business loan? What's the difference? And I literally walked into a bank off the high street in Hammersmith High Street. I walked into Lloyd's Bank. I said, can I get a business loan? And they said, where's your business plan? I said, what's a business plan? And then they said, well, take this leaflet and it will show you. Of course, there wasn't phones with Google on it then.
Yeah.
So you can't Google everything. And I was like, I really didn't really know what a business plan was. But my family own a big sort of like meat business in London. So I actually called my granddad and I said, I've got to do a business plan. And he was like, oh, you need this, you need that. Come and spend days in the factory. So to go into the factory and spend a few days in the factory learning his business. And then I put a business plan together that now I look back and it looks very primary school. Primary school compared to like different business plans. But anyway, they were impressed, and he actually, luckily for me, he was a guarantor on my business, and that's how I first did that. But my mistakes were being offered an overdraft in London. And I was like, oh, that's nice. I can do this and do that. Now, I'm not a spender on myself, but I'm a spender on the business. So I was like, I want this in the salon. I want that in the salon. I want the latest this, that, everything. And just overspending. And then, I bought myself a company car. I had the car wrapped in the doll's house because that's what it was called. Just way overspent and not looked at it properly. So I spent what I earned.
Okay. But you managed to have a lot of celebrities come to you?
Yeah, so I think that again, I had a salon right over Barnes Bridge. Now, the X Factor, the show The X Factor, used to put up all the candidates down in a place called Harrods Village, which is behind my salon. And so I'd get the agents coming in, and we had like the main salon on that sort of street, and we had done a lot of PR and press work. We'd done a few events in like clubs in London and things like that. So not that we were known as a salon, but I was putting ourselves out there as a one salon.
Yeah.
I put ourselves out there, and we were in a good place. And lots of celebs lived in that area, so they would. Normally, the agents came in and then had a chat with me, and they'd say, oh, can you do this? Can you come to the rooms? Can you do private? Can you do this show, that show? I was like, yes, yes, yeah. And making myself available. I mean, literally 4 a.m., I'd be there. Literally 10 p.m., I'd be there. And then I was the same for my clients. My clients were all very high end professional earners. They wanted a blow dry maybe 3 times a day. So if that was 4 a.m., because I had a lot of news reporters, a lot who were doing BBC News in the morning show, the One show, loads. So I'd just be available 24/7. Sometimes I actually slept in the salon. I slept in the beauty room. I actually had a duvet and
Oh
slept,
my God.
and had a shower there as well. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So that became your second home, literally.
Oh, I was there more
Yeah.
than I was at home. More than I was at home, yeah.
But do celebrities actually pay, or they just expect
Oh, in London, everything paid.
everyone
Dubai has been a
pays?
different story. In London at that time, I never did any free work in terms of those celebrities. I did a lot of free work when I was at college, though I actually worked backstage as an assistant, which is assisting the main hairstylist on um, Destiny's Child show once. Um, so lots of shows and things like that. That I was working at loads of magazine shoots as an assisting. So you're assisting the worker, the main hairstylists. When I was, I don't know, 17, 18, I did loads of that. So that was for free. And then as soon as I had my salon, it was like the agent said, oh, how much for this, how much for that? And I got paid. Um, so I, I didn't really get a lot of. I never really did a lot of free things. All the celebrities that I did. I mean, Delta Goodrem. She owned a house opposite my salon, and
Adele.
huh?
Oh, sorry, who?
Delta Goodrem.
Oh, okay.
So she was a singer. She was in Neighbours, and
Oh,
she was with Brian McFadden from Westlife at the time. So they were living there, and they were just in and out all the time. And then like all the family and everything was in there, and then lots of. Oh, there was another show that was on in London. They were doing Legally Blonde on the theatre, and oh gosh, his little sister was like the main role in that show, and then she was in the salon, and then they'd bring the cast members in. But I, like I say, I was available. Like these people left keys for their houses for me to look up. If they were like traveling, they were like, "Can we leave the key?" I was like the community salon, I'd say. And they paid, but it was on account. So they'd say, invoice my accountant. So they'd come in for the whole month, everything would be recorded. Then I'd just send an invoice and the accountant would just pay at the end of the month. And loads of people like that. Loads. So,
and name us a few celebs, like the most high profile that you worked with.
well, celebrities.
Yes, celebrities.
Well, probably the highest was when I was here in Abu Dhabi, and that was Paris Hilton. And I
Okay.
got paid.
You got
I
paid.
got paid. Yeah. Again, her agent phoned, like a friend from London called me and was like, oh, I know you're over there and Paris Hilton's coming and they need someone. And normally high profile celebrities, they obviously travel with their, their own
Yeah, with their
hairdressers.
entourage. Yeah, with their crew.
But funny enough, she had her entourage, but she didn't have a hairdresser, which I found really strange. So I got paid. And when I first met her, she was very standoffish to start with, which I don't mind. I just expect. And I was like, hello, I'm Kat. I'm the hairstylist. And, but then afterwards, she was like, I want you to stay all night with me. I want you to do my hair, come to the club with me, do this. I want you to do it in the morning. And I ended up being with her for the whole weekend, just doing her hair. Yeah. Well, first of all, she was showing me like very simple things. She's like, can you do this? Can you do this? And I was like, yeah, it's fine. It was like a simple braid or something. I was like, yeah, of course. And that was good. Um, and then other celebrities,
How's it with them behind the scenes? Like, are they tantrums, or is it very
I had,
easy?
to be honest, I found the bigger the celebrity, the less tantrums because they've got a entourage. I mean, you know, there's things. I end up like, I'm not just their hairdresser. I always end up in an intimate moment with someone, I reckon. I don't know why, but I always end up having a moment, and then they tell me something, they open up and I just listen. And then I end up, I don't know whether it's, can you massage this cream into me, or can you wake me up when I'm going to sleep now? Can you wake me up later? I end up kind of like the overall assistant, I would say. And that's always happened. I don't know why, but
So
that's always
they
happened.
feel they can confide
Yeah,
into
yeah,
a
yeah,
stranger, share something vulnerable that they might not share with anybody
yeah.
else.
I'm not sure they share with other people. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, but like
as a
you hit it off
stranger,
as a close
yeah,
friend
yeah,
suddenly.
yeah,
And does that help you
yeah,
as a person
definitely.
in your
Yeah,
business
yeah,
with your clients?
yeah, definitely. Like I myself, I believe in sort of like energies and things, and I definitely, the ones that I click with, celebrities or clients, that's, I always like have a more than a hairdresser friendship with someone. Yeah, like I like to get deep, so I like to, I don't know why, I probably ask questions. I'm nosy.
It's good
But
as long as yeah.
in a way that I feel that if someone I read the room
Yeah.
if someone's gonna open up.
What is your energy now? 4 coffees down.
Exactly, 4 coffees down, I'm probably talking way too quick and too much.
No, no, it's good. It's good. You're being real, and that's important. I love the fact that you own your age. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. What plans?
Um, Going out Saturday night and then, with actually some girls from work and my husband, and then we're gonna do a kiddie brunch on, a Halloween brunch because I feel like I own Halloween because birthday's so close, and we got married on Halloween as well, so, on, Sunday, we're doing a Halloween brunch. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
So you're an award-winning hair colorist. Um, how did you become the brand ambassador for Schwarzkopf? Yeah. Can you tell me again how to pronounce it right?
Schwarzkopf. Well, I say Schwarzkopf. I mean, when I'm with someone German, they laugh and they're like, "I love the way you say Schwarzkopf." I think it's like Schwarzkopf, but I don't say it like I say
Got to
Schwarzkopf.
get that German
Yeah, yeah,
accent to get it
yeah,
right. Okay.
yeah, which isn't very I'm not very good at German. But yeah, I say Schwarzkopf. Maybe I'm saying it more German. I'm making an effort. But, so Schwarzkopf, I basically I had won the Colorist of the Year in 2017, I think. I think it was the first professional beauty awards here. I'd always entered in London, and I once got through to the regional finals of London, which was actually it might have even been semi-regional finals, which is very difficult to do. You have to spend a lot of money in entering competitions because you need the photographer, you need the entourage, you need the model, you need the whole shebang. And here I'd entered and entered the photos, etc., and I actually won that year. So I'd also done a lot of press because of working with the companies I was working with. I was very lucky to have the support and financial backing from those companies. And I had obviously my background in photo shoots, magazines and things in London. So I'd had experience. So I was doing some things, and Schwarzkopf had come to see me a couple of times, along with another brand at the same time. Um, and they said, look, we really want you to look at Schwarzkopf. We want you to work with the brand. And at the time, I was working with another brand, and I'm loyal. I don't like jump from brand to brand. And I was like, oh, I'm not sure because I'm about to become an ambassador for this other brand. And they were like, look, let me take you to Germany. So I went to Germany and I met with like the global team, and I just fell in love. And I'm such a geek. Like if I go to a training, I'm front of the class. Like I'm one of those.
You're the front bencher.
I'm literally at the front. And I'm such a geek. I want to know everything. Like, why does that product work? What does it do? What does it do to the hair? What if this? What if that? I want to know everything. I don't just want to be, oh, that smells nice. I like to know the ins and outs. Otherwise, I won't use it. I have to 100% believe it, or I don't have it in my salon and I won't use it. And so I went to the factory and I worked with all the scientists, and I honestly, when I say worked, I stood alongside and, got told everything. And they were amazing. I could not believe the technology that went into this brand. I couldn't believe, like, looking at the image boards, the future. I mean, it is so innovative, this brand, that it just blew my mind. And I want to be with this company. I want to be with this company. I want to breathe the company. I want to, digest the company. I loved it. And I love every single member of that company. I just can't get enough of it. I believe, and I agree with like the ethos of the company. They've changed in the last 10 years. They've gone more ethical. Most of their products are vegan. They are recycling everything, of course, as the whole world is changing. But I love their energy because they are owned by a big, big company who, it's very difficult. The bigger company you are, it's so difficult to change, those things to become sustainable, and they are doing it. But separate to that, I fell in love with the brand, etc. Anyway, I was really passionate. Like I say, I was like walking around like a kid in a candy shop, like, oh my god, I love this. Oh my god, this is amazing, and like seeing new things. And then afterwards, Schwarzkopf, the company here, they were like, oh my god, you're really passionate about this. You're so passionate. And I was like, yeah, I know. Oh my god, I need that color. I want that red. Can I take this red home? And And then afterwards, they came with a proposal and they said, we'd really love you to be the colour ambassador for the UAE. And they had a Schwarzkopf ambassador for the products and everything else. And they were like, you're passionate about colour. You won the Colorist of the Year. And so I accepted. And that was an amazing journey.
On that note, how relevant is skin tone and hair color? Where does your role come in? Like, do you actually put your foot down and say this goes for you, or like the clients come and suggest?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's the same as anything, when you wear a color up against your skin, your eyes and everything, it then changes. Makeup, clothes, we change. One, it can change our moods, but it changes. You can put, if someone's very sort of very, very warm and maybe you put like an ash on them, they can look dull and they don't realize it. They might see a picture and say, oh my God, I want to look like that. But actually, it's not going to suit them. So that actually comes in a lot. But also, I do believe in personality with color. And I always say to my clients, especially if I have a new client, I play it safe because my first visit with them, I don't know their personality. And if they're difficult to open up to me that first visit, then I play it safe. But if they are an open book, then it's easy because I look at their personality. I'm sure anyone can pull off this red, for example. Um, but they might not feel it. In terms of skin tone, actually, reds and pinks, not just reds, like a pinky tone actually goes with a lot of colours, eyes and hair. Like black skin to white skin, a pink can actually be very, very
Neutral?
complementary. Yes, complementary to a lot of skin tones. There's certain pinks and reds that are really complementary to a lot of skin tones, but would someone feel comfortable wearing that? So you've got to think about, their job, their life, how it makes them feel. It's like putting on a bad shirt and you're going to wear it every single day for the next 2 months. Are you going to be happy with that shirt?
What are the main demographics that come to your salon over here?
Honestly, we've got huge, huge mix. I mean, where we're based in Arjan, which is, and surrounding areas are, of course, you've got Arabian Ranches, you've got, Victory Heights, Motor City, all of those sort of expat areas.
This is the Bursha South.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. I'd say expat areas, but expat is every single person.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
Dubai,
So you get to play with a lot of colors because different complexions are coming to you.
tons, yeah. But
Yeah.
also, where my salon was in London, it was the same. So you've got all those different nationalities and, let's say, origins. It's not nationality, is it? It's origins. So you've got different skin tones from all over the place in London. So I felt like Dubai was just very similar to that. And so in my salon itself, I wouldn't say we do have locals come in, but of course the area where we're in, we don't have so many.
It's very expat driven.
Yeah, it's more
Yeah.
expat, but that doesn't really make any difference. We've got every single skin tone, color, and everything in the salon. So we do a variety of different people.
Like you said that you've always maintained red. What does that reflect about you? Why do you keep only red and not play around?
Do you know? I don't know. I think when I was little, I wanted to be ginger. Even I wanted my kids to be ginger, and I had like all mousy kids. I think because I had green eyes, I always wanted to look like that green eyes and red hair child. So as soon as I was allowed to dye my hair, like I told you,
Yeah.
I
At
actually,
13.
yeah, 13. I think my parents, because I was working in the salon at 13 as a Saturday girl, so they were like, if it's done professionally, then I went red. Actually, started off like coppery red, and then I've played around from like copper to red to like a coppery blonde to pink to red. I have done purple before, but I don't feel like it suits me. It's like more darker and nudie, and I prefer to be a bit brighter. So I just like red, and I think then it became like, you brand yourself, don't you? I just felt like my hair was my brand. I've had short, long, extensions. I mean everything, but
the color's always
color's
been
always red.
consistent.
Yeah, it's always red, and everyone says, "Oh, the red hairdresser." But because of my hair, I think the majority in my salon have red, and even if they don't, I always add a little tip red in the
Okay.
formula. So I say, "Yeah, you got your red, your 971."
You fit the five.
Yeah, exactly.
What about textures? Does that play a role?
Yeah, textures always plays a role as well. Of course, if now this is where it plays a role when you're literally hiring staff, because If you're hiring people that have only been in their home country and their home country isn't cosmopolitan like London, they are not used to different textures. So they may only be used to Asian hair, or they may only be used to, I don't know, blondes, long hair. So then it takes a while to get used to working with lots of different textures. I think obviously I'm lucky being in London, but like training in London, because you're just used to so many different textures. And, you know, from thick afro, um, frizzy, to very fine waif, thin blonde hair. And you get practice, because you only get practice with experience, and you have to make mistakes. You just have to make a lot of mistakes to get, because then oh, that happened, and that's going to be fantastic for that person, but it's not fantastic right now, but for this person. But you make those mistakes, and then that makes you the better, like an artist. You play around with paints and things like that, then that, okay, that's not going to work, this will. And in my salon, we love playing around with colors. We actually have diaries sitting at the color bar, and every single formula that we do, we write down. And we have the scales that we have are like jeweler's scales. So it measures the absolute point millimeter or point gram. And we write down exactly, because then we can tweak it. Maybe someone likes this red, for example, but on them, it can't be my formula. It needs to be something else, because their hair might be thick and dark, whereas mine's thin and light. So it's easy to get this color. So you need to then tweak the formulas, but we write everything down. And then if we discover something, when I say discover, we play around. Like if we cut people's hair off and it's quite long, we might use that as a swab, and we'll play around and create different formulas. And we write them down, and we stick in the book as well, like these different like color swabs. And then sometimes we're like, oh, didn't you make a really nice pink, or didn't you really make that mushroom brown the other day? And we're like, go back to the formula. Oh, actually, I might try and add this in, like a recipe. It's like a recipe book. Yeah, that's it.
When you cut their hair, what do you do with that excess hair? Is that thrown away? Is that
Yeah.
sold?
No, it's not sold. It's definitely not sold.
Because you see that in the news, right? That people sell
Yeah,
hair.
for hair extensions.
Yeah.
I mean, we do.
Yeah, for hair extensions, exactly.
Yeah, no, we don't, because we never really cut off that much. Now, if someone has that much and it's virgin hair and they want to donate it, then we'll tell them how to donate it, because obviously there's like Little Princess Trust, and you can donate it for children's wigs to be made for cancer. So that's something that I've always kind of done, but that's few and far between that someone has virgin hair down to there. Usually this time of year, of course, it's October, and people then, they'll grow their hair during the summer, and then they'll say, oh, I'm going to donate my hair. So we'll do that. But no, most of the time it gets binned. But if it's, let's say, a couple of inches long, and it's a good color that we can play around with the swatches, then that's when we'll take that hair and use it just to trial different colors. But most of the time it will get
Okay.
thrown away.
In terms of age group, ideally, what is your client?
Our client
Where
base.
does it fit?
The majority of our clients, I would say, ranges from, I'd say 30 to 60. I'd say that's the majority. But then I've got a lot of my clients' daughters that are coming. So they're in their 20s. When they get back from university, they always come in for a visit. I love that family feel. And also, like this time of year, my clients are coming and saying, my parents are coming at Christmas, and I might have seen them for 11 years every Christmas. And that for me is what Christmas is, because I'm literally there and I'm doing these ladies that are like in the 80s, that my clients' parents, 70s, 80s, even the oldest one was 96. And I get to see them every Christmas, because here you don't see a lot of old people.
Okay.
And not that I want to be an old people's salon, old person's salon, of course, but I love that family feel. So that's amazing at Christmas to get.
And because you build like a deeper bond, do you remember them when they meet you? So you remember their backstories
Yeah,
and
yeah. I remember like what farm they live on, and like their other kids that are living in so and so. I forget, like during the year, I wouldn't think, as soon as I see them, they give me a hug, and then that it all comes back. Yeah.
so you build a stronger connection, and that really helps from a business
Yeah.
perspective, because it's not just robotic that, oh, this is my
No.
job, I do it,
No,
I
no,
get
no.
paid, and then we move on.
No. Every single client, and this is what I wanted to create in my salon, and that's what I was missing here, and that's what I absolutely love about 971. So that's why when I say, I want to expand the business and stuff, but then But of course I want to expand the business, but I want to like have more salons, but then you have to dilute yourself. And I just love being in my salon so much because I love that community feel. And that's what I've created. So every single client, it's not just them coming in for, okay, they're coming in, cut and blow dry, see you later. It's, I know their journey. I know when they've, had a miscarriage, got divorced, got married, had a baby. I know the ins and outs going through menopause. I know their innermost secrets. And to be honest, most of them that have been with me for years know mine. So it's a very special relationship you build up with a client. But separate to the personal stuff, also hair wise, if you have a relationship with your hairdresser, like who said your hairdresser should be your best friend? Coco Chanel. I'm sure that was Coco Chanel. Like, you should always have your best friend as a hairdresser. I think it's true because you are then on the journey with that person. You're sort of like in charge of their look and you can help. You know how that is. If you go to a different hairdresser every single time, that hairdresser's never going to be able to produce what you really want to your soul, how you want to walk out, because they don't know how your hair. I'm never going to do that for the first time for someone because I don't know how you are as a person. I don't know how your hair actually works in terms of scientifically. I don't know how your hair is going to, you know, uh, perform under whether that's bleach, color, my scissors, whatever. So when I'm on a journey with your hair, I know, and then I get to know what medication you might be on. If you're going through a hard time right now, your hair feels like that. So that is that plays a factor. If you have a relationship with someone, you're like the hair doctor.
Okay. But does that take a toll? Like, does stress take a toll on the hair health?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, definitely. 100%. 100%.
How do you treat, like, what when clients come to you, what is their primary objective? Is it treating their damaged hair, or is it coloring their silver hair based on the age?
Well, based on the age, of course, we have clients coming in every 2 weeks to make sure that they're not grey, to make sure that they are not, they want their silver hair completely covered. Others want their silver hair, and that can, you can get grey hairs from 20. So well, any age, but I mean, a lot of people start getting the odd one from in their late 20s. Um, but the most concern I would say is, yeah, I'd say colour. Um, Definitely colouring the maintenance, that's the main thing. But I would say a lot of if I get new clients, they want a change. I never normally get a new client that says, "Oh, I just want a root touch-up." The new clients I cut that come in, they normally say, "Oh, I've researched you," or "I've looked you up on Instagram," or "I've seen you on so and so, and I've been following you for 2 years, and I finally decided to come in." And I said, "Oh gosh, you should have come in before," and they're like, "Well, I want this change." And then we'll go through, I'll sit with someone for at least half an hour for a full consultation because I really want to get to know them. Why have you come to me today? Why are you sitting in my chair? What made you want to come in today to Salon 971? There must be a reason, right? I don't think new people just walk in and say, "I want a root tint." Yeah, unless they're just walking past and they say, "Oh, okay, that's a salon." But I think nowadays people that think about what they want and then they go to that person based on they're attracted to that person.
Okay. So it's a 1 hour is pure consultation with a new client.
Half an hour to an hour, yeah,
Okay.
depending on the needs on the client.
And how many clients you take in a day for yourself specifically?
Um, If it's cut and color, full thing, full shebang, then honestly, 4 is enough. It doesn't sound much, I know, but 4 is enough because if I'm spending
No,
4
it takes a
hours with
lot of time.
someone, yeah, if
Yeah.
I'm spending 4 hours with someone, then I would say like 2 clients this is my ideal day, is 2 clients in the morning with cut and color because I can color one, then color the next, then cut the first, then cut the second, or whatever I'm doing, and then do the same in the afternoon. So I say that's a really nice, perfect day. But to be honest, obviously, Fridays, etc. Every single person needs that, and sometimes it can be like 8 clients, but I need my assistant for that to help. But and also I want to build the team. Like I really have a lot of my own clients that I do all the time, and I want to give them time. They're coming in, spending time with me, not just for, I'm sure it's not just for hair. Sometimes I have some people coming in and they're like, "You're my therapy session. I have a blow dry every week for a therapy session." I'm like, "Amazing,"
Okay.
you know.
What
So
is your price point like?
To be honest, I would honestly say my prices probably haven't gone up since I was in London, but because Dubai is a lot cheaper in terms of compared to London, I'm saying London city itself. A cut and blow dry with me is 500, um, which is I honestly think that that's really reasonable. I'm the same price as a lot of my team, Christina, in my salon as well. She's an amazing award-winning cutter, and she charges the same. We try and be, obviously, price point is, what's the word? Competitive. With the same type of salon as ours, I'd say we're very competitive. In terms of color, and everything, I mean, full head of highlights and everything else is it's probably about 2,000 dirhams. We have different options, more affordable options with different stylists.
Okay.
But
Well, when it comes to styling, what is the difference between heat and heat-free styling?
well, heat, obviously, you're using heat styling tools, hair dryer, heat styling tools.
Which does damage the hair in the long run.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
If it's overused, you're not using protection, that would damage the hair. Yeah. And then heat-free styling would be when you are putting it in rollers and letting it dry naturally, braiding it, letting it dry naturally, not styling it with heat. But in the salon, we all use Dyson, which is amazing tools for the hair and is a lot less damaging on the hair in the long run.
Okay. Do you even color hair for men?
Sorry?
Style and color hair for men?
I do, but not in the salon.
That you can't.
Yeah. So yes, I do. I always have done. Yeah. I actually entered a few like men's awards, which I got into like the finals in London before. So yeah. I mean, hair's the same. There's no different. Whether it's a man or a woman, it's the same hair.
True.
So yeah.
Fun fact, I've never colored my hair all my life.
Really? Wow.
I have that fear that once I color it, it might damage and then I'm going to get a lot more whiter hair.
No, that is an absolute myth.
We're going to bust those myths, yeah. Tell us. That's what we want to talk about. Tell us a couple of myths that people like me or others would have.
Oh God. Okay. Well,
I have that.
Yeah.
I never colored for the fact that once I do it and once it wears off, I'm going to have a lot more whiter hair.
No, so many
or
people say
thinner
that,
hair.
but it's not true. It's really not true. I mean, basically, if you clog up the follicles, that's when you're gonna like have more hair fall, etc. Or your hair's not gonna grow back. But to do with white, that's completely natural and it's hereditary. So you don't dye your hair now, because it looks very black to me.
I swear, on 3 cameras, never colored my hair. Never.
It looks good actually. It looks very vibrant and not yeah. It looks
never
really
colored.
nice.
I always
Wow.
have that fear. But tell us a couple
Yeah.
more myths that people
Well,
have.
another myth that people have is always they say, "Oh, the color won't take if my hair's clean." So they come in with really dirty hair, and sometimes I actually have to wash their hair because it's it actually that is a myth. But what it is it actually if it's too oily, etc., it can create a barrier against the color. So you really shouldn't have dirty hair before you color it. However, it will protect the scalp because obviously if you wash the hair and cleanse the scalp, then the scalp's going to feel slightly tingly when you're putting a color on top of it. But that's definitely one thing. What's another myth? Oh, if you pull a grey hair, then two grey hairs are going to grow. Um, that's it's unlikely, but if you pull out the hair and you end up splitting the actual follicle inside, it possibly may split the hair into two, but no, not really. Not likely that if you pull out a grey hair, you're going to get two. No. Don't pull them out at that age where you're actually getting grey hairs. Usually we start receding, men and women, and it's hereditary. And then based on what we eat, our environment, etc. But you're literally going to lose hair anyway, more likely, and then different
Either
things,
color
factors
it
help
or
it.
own it.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Color it or own it.
But with all, I mean, end of the day, all these products do have chemicals in it. Doesn't that take a toll on your hair and the health of it?
To be honest, yes, it will. It will. I mean, when some people say, let's say, like you, okay, if you grew your hair out, it's beautiful, you've got rich hair, it looks, glossy. And if I had a lady come in with hair like yours and says, I want blonde ends and stuff, but I want no damage, I still want it looking glossy, it's not going to happen. Yes, I can make it look like that. I can make it look amazing and I can use products that are fantastic that are not going to damage it that much. But at the end of the day, you're asking me to peel back your cuticle, bleach out a lot of the color and then, put a beautiful color on top. It's not going to look like your hair naturally because you're blessed with this beautiful Asian hair that looks glossy and it's thick. it's not going to look the same. So yes, it does damage to a certain extent, but of course it makes a huge difference on what products you do use. I mean, honestly, I've got like 5 different bleachers that we use on different hair because of different factors. I'm not going to use the same one on someone's hair as another. So, and then we've got the non-ammonia, the more oil-based colors that are beautiful, and they're so soft and shiny. And some of the products, like I do have a lot of clients that have natural hair, let's say like yours, and I say, I'm honest, like anything that's going to open your cuticle, it's not going to feel the same. You're going to have a different texture. It's going to feel drier, but we can do a gloss, and the gloss has hyaluronic acid in it. Covers over the top of the hair. Of course, you're not going to get a different color because you've got a black base, but it will give a shine. So if the sun shines, it will give a reflection of possibly a red or a gold or something that will give you something different. Um, I do that on a lot of clients that don't want to color that. They don't want to ruin their hair, but they want something different. And the glosses are gorgeous. They're really lovely on the hair. Like there's a lot of products and treatments you can do. And then of course there's extensions. You don't want to color your hair, you don't want to damage, you can just add a few extensions in. It's not going to damage your hair if it's done right and looked after correctly. And you can add that color into that beautiful hair because it's difficult. The darker hair you've got, the more difficult it is to color and not damage. Whereas of course, if you've got like mousy hair naturally like me, you can honestly go lighter or darker. It doesn't make much difference. So it depends.
And ammonia-free plays a role in.
Well, it does. I mean, I used to be very much like, so when that came out, the ammonia-free colours, I was very much like, right, we're all going ammonia-free. I'm never using ammonia again. And I'm quite sensitive myself, so my eyes water and everything. I'm very sensitive to like products and smells and colours, and I'm quite reactive. I wouldn't say allergic, but sensitive. I was like, right, we're going ammonia free. But over the years, I'm working with Schwarzkopf in their lab, in the factory. If you're using ammonia free, you're using something else that is going to open the cuticle. So it's not that bad, but it can dry out the hair more because it opens faster. It makes the cuticle open a lot faster than non-ammonia products. However, it depends really. It's not really ammonia that actually makes the client reactive. It's the different products it's the ingredients inside the product that make you reactive. And usually it's the pigment that people are allergic to. So the darker the pigment, the stronger the reaction.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's trending now? What are the hair trends for this season?
I love this hair trend, but I'm not sure how many people would have it, and I'm not having a lot of people request it right now. So I'd say this has gone out more in Europe and the States, but calico. Now, calico is a mixture of like whitey blonde, coppers and browns. And that is what you'd call, like I used to have Persian cats in the UK. I've got a Persian cat here as well. And my Persian cat, I was desperate to get a calico Persian cat, and it was literally white, copper, and black. So that always reminds me of a calico Persian cat. And I called that cat Callie. But now this calico hair trend's gone crazy. It's quite stripy, it's quite bold. So I actually need to put an advert out on my Facebook saying, does anyone want calico hair? Because we're willing to do it. But that's very trending. You know, the rich coppers, it's always back to reds and coppers this time of year, but in the past it's been very much, more sort of subtle ashy tones. And in the last couple of years, it's got a lot more caramels and copper's been in all year, but that darker, that cowgirl copper that's been out for a while, that's definitely trending now. And we're getting more and more clients coming in asking for reds, and I just love it.
Does it also depend on the season? Like with Christmas at the end of the year, there's a different kind of moods people are in that whole
And
holiday
I'd say a
spirit.
lot of people always say, oh, I need my winter, I can go a bit darker now. I've had a lot of people come in recently and they're saying, oh, can I have like plum? Can I go more copper? Whereas as soon as like the summer starts, they want to go lighter, add the highlights in, light coppers, light reds, even pink. They'll do things like that. But Christmassy, that people tend to go, and Christmas, like this time of year, autumny, pumpkiny, Halloweeny, they want to go more deeper and, richer colours.
Okay. You mentioned about the challenges in your past. What kind of challenges do you feel like today in these times?
Today, I would feel the challenge is keeping keeping yourself current, keeping the business current. Of course, it's amazing how many new salons are here in Dubai, and that I'm always excited for. I want to talk to them all. I want to be involved. I love the industry, right? So the more decent salons opening up all the time in Dubai, it's just becoming such more of a cosmopolitan, and it gives the industry that sort of elevation that it needs, like we were saying earlier, in this country. However, obviously that comes with challenges because the more decent hairdressers there are, the harder you have to work. So the challenge for me is like constantly not keeping myself current or my team current, but getting it out there. How do we tell people how current we are? That's the challenge for me.
And I'm assuming social plays a big role in that.
Yeah, huge. Absolutely huge. I mean, honestly, any new client I would say is based on our Facebook groups, basically the mums talking or being recommended. But you've got to keep yourself out there. You've got to you've got to tell everyone, oh, I'm a hairdresser. Oh, whenever you're out and about, and this is what I tell my team, it's continuous. Keep up your Instagram, and it's not just like putting a hair picture now. You've got to do the reels and everything. You've got to keep the stories. You've got to add your personal life as well because people want to attract to you, what you're like as a person. There's so much to it. That's the biggest challenge for me.
So where all can people find you? Where are your socials and what are their?
So my own social, which I'm not that great at, but I do post stories. My own social is my Instagram at Catherine Hawks, and then the salon is at Salon971DXB. So that's the socials. That's the main thing.
And what are your plans for next year now?
So right now we've just literally sort of we've just launched loads of different things in the salon. We've just launched new facials, which are amazing, and we've just redone our sort of beauty section. So the plans for next year is really just like working on what we have just launched just from the summer. So it's just so new. We're just getting to terms with it all ourselves, and just working on my team. That's my next goal for this year, and winning the Professional Beauty Awards because we've just applied for them.
You will, I'm sure you will. On that note, wish you all the best and success, Catherine.
Thank you so much.
It
Thanks
was
a lot.
fantastic. I
Thanks
think you were
you.
real, you were candid. And again, happy birthday in advance.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Kat Hawks, award-winning stylist and founder of Salon 971. Find the full episodes on Friday for Imprint of Success. Prepare to be inspired for Imprint of Success.